Good afternoon. My name is Claudia Scaff, an Associate Professor of Graphic Design and Digital Media from the University of North Florida. Today I want to talk about opening frontiers while using classical techniques. Studies suggest that most design disciplines have evolved so much through the years that specialty design disciplines have become a reality. Graphic design is no different. Students interested in graphic design can now concentrate in web, animation, publication, branding, and the list goes on. This evolution to a focused approach became possible with the introduction of computer and design software. While the aviation process may start with just a pencil and a piece of paper before moving to the computer, classical processes such as printmaking, once an integral part of design exploration, have been eliminated from many design programs. According to Philip Meggs, strong examples of graphic design date back to manuscripts in ancient China, Egypt, and Greece, where the use of wood block or relief printing was developed. This process, which was done by applying ink to a raised curved surface, allowed multiple copies of text and images to be made quickly and economically. As printing and book production developed in the 15th century, advances in graphic design progressed with typesetters often designing pages as they set the type. Furthermore, Max notes that the art and practice of graphic design really developed as a result of printmaking technologies such as movable type. That brings me to highlight the importance of learning these techniques not only for its historical value but also for broaden a student's skill set in a way that will differentiate them from other graphic designers. I received my bachelor's degree in industrial design in Brazil in the early 1980s from the Fundação Armando Álvares Penteado. I had to take black and white photography and a variety of printmaking courses. Printmaking processes such as frottage, monotype, intaglio, stenciling, serigraphy was part of the curriculum. Unfortunately, in today's courses, these techniques are not always available to design students as exploratory methods. At the University of North Florida, students in our graphic design program take courses such as visual identity, advertising, UI UX, social design, package design, motion graphics, publication, to name a few. While their ideation starts with a pencil and paper, the final process requires the use of a digital media. We also have a printmaking track, which is part of our BFA. In the summer of 2022, I partnered with printmaking professor Sheila Colaborotko on a study abroad program to Salvador, Bahia, Brazil. There, we offer 2 courses to students in graphic design program and students in printmaking program. The main goal was to facilitate the collaboration among the students by sharing their experiences and knowledge on their majors. Students learn printmaking techniques such as frottage, letterpress, relief prints from styrofoam plates, gelatin monotype on paper by producing a body of work that would then be curated and featured on a gallery setting. For the graphic design component, 15 students were divided in 5 teams, having 1 graphic design senior, a sophomore, and 1 printing student. All groups work with Projeto Axé, a local nonprofit organization, to develop promotional materials including extensions to their website, brochures, social media campaigns. To analyze the impact of graphic designers learning printmaking techniques, we can examine their final projects, including the client, self-creative expression pieces, and the promotional poster for their exhibition. Projeto Axé. This nonprofit organization focuses on protecting the rights of children and providing opportunities to disadvantaged children through arts education. It gives students between the ages of 8 and 21 a new beginning by taking them back to the Afro-Brazilian roots. Projeto Axé teaches visual arts, music, dance, fashion, and capoeira as part of their efforts to give students productive activities to keep them off the streets. Students were assigned to develop the brand of Espaço Z, a program that prepares young adults to become educators, helping them with professional immersion and inclusion in art education, areas carried out in the Axé project units. Our students had total freedom to choose what they felt relevant to the client work. Out of 5 groups, only one used classical printmaking techniques to develop a concept. The approach was suitable for the target audience, low-income young adults looking for a better professional opportunity. You can see this group plan their designs by developing some client pieces while working on different printmaking techniques. In the social media campaign, we see the use of letterpress, stencil, and a limited color palette to unify all the pieces, while the poster uses a frottage technique applied to the background. The other 4 groups use familiar approaches such as photography, gradients, overlay color blocks, iconography, developing in Illustrator and Photoshop. Here you see the branding one group developed for the Espaço Z program, including the symbol, typography, colors, patterns, and touch points. Here we see color overlaying photographs, high contrast images to appeal to professionals who might be interested in becoming mentors for the program. Using the same techniques of overlaying gradients on photography, we also see iconography developed for a space to market the students' talents. The use of limited colors and black and white photography help unify the slideshow and brochure created to attract potential donors. In this assignment, students had to produce a creative self-expression piece focusing on one specific aspect of their overall experience, using techniques of their choice such as self-written piece, paper, journals, poems, booklets, posters, film, sculpture, painting. An extended deadline was given to this last piece, that is, after students came back from Brazil, with the goal of giving them time to evaluate their experience and to select a technique. Here you see the work of 3 students. Julia Vong, acrylic on vinyl plank. The choice of flooring was something she had in excess at home, and one of the things she learned in Brazil, which was to use what you have. The rectangular shape of the flooring provided a natural option to create a cityscape. The second one, Valéria Romo, Os Pequenos Momentos, is a digital painting. Valéria loves animals, and she decided to feature the ones she encountered in Salvador using playing cards format. The cards remind her one of the games they used to play there, Slapping Jack. Justin Longo, Brazil in Motion, acrylic on canvas. Seeing all the work that the Brazilian artist made without technology motivated him to go back to his roots of traditional painting. Here we see Michelle Springston, Obrigada Brasil, digital painting on glossy paper. She created an accordion-style book featuring her self-authored poem and photography. Her words, I combine all my passions, writing, graphic design, and photography to create an interesting approach. Emma Cooper, R$350, digital painting. inspired by the work of Bella Seyfarth, which is heavily reliant on color and organic brushstrokes to create the texture in her pieces, and adds a stamp on top of the scene she portrays. The subjects of Emma's stamps are things that represented her time in Brazil: Bahia bands, the lighthouse, the favela, and the flags hung up for the São João festival. Here we see Sophia Caldwell used digital painting to represent Iemanjá, a candomblé entity who is considered the queen of the sea. Quincy also used digital painting in a collage way to portray some of the most memorable sites, while Sophia Nguyen developed an animated illustration showcasing the contrast between the two common sites, the riches of the cathedrals and the roughness of the favelas. In addition to the client and self-creative expression pieces, I selected Michelle Springston and Justin Luongo, now junior graphic design students, to create the poster for New Frontiers, the exhibition featuring the works developed for both programs. Here we can see printmaking techniques applied to the design. We see the use of letterpress, gelatin, monotype, frottage, little drawings related to Brazilian artists organized in a collage-style layout. When asking the designers why they chose this approach, they explained that they wanted to feature the different printmaking techniques they all learned in Brazil. When asked about the process, they explained that they scanned some printmaking pieces, used Photoshop to put them all together, then Illustrator for the title. This was the most effective way to get the poster the way they wanted in a timely manner. Overall, why didn't they use printmaking techniques? One could say familiarity. Few days learning the techniques weren't enough for them to feel comfortable mastering the processes. Time consuming, requires many trials to get the perfect composition. There is no Ctrl-Z or delete button when you make a mistake. You might need to cover with more material or start over. The time they had to finish the project wasn't enough for them to use this technique. Cost. Each time you need to start over, more materials are needed, adding cost to the project. Client needs. Usually clients want design to be high quality and cost effective, and they are time stressed, so they don't want to engage in a lot of process, resource challenges in both time and money. When should they use printmaking techniques? There is something about the process of experimentation that many of our graphic design students are reluctant to try. When we make mistakes, instead of deleting or Ctrl-Z, we consider adding elements, layers to produce an unexpected and unique solution. There is a sense of texture and three-dimensionality that's not intuitive when using digital processes. There is an art of spontaneity and experimentation, playing with materials, playing with the process, reusing the failing pieces to make them succeed, experimentation with an unfamiliar graphic medium. Therefore, graphic design students should use printmaking techniques as part of their creative exploration, deciding if the final output will be printmaking piece or the use of printmaking pieces with digital output might depend on the topic, client, time, and cost. It's a shame that our students don't explore enough. Printmaking provides that opportunity. Printmaking processes are important techniques for graphic design to learn, from a historical reference to learn how things were done in the past, or as a creative process dealing with spontaneous outcomes to final output. The experience with these techniques will provide students with a differential that will make them stand out from many graphic design programs.